Well, welcome to All Things Retirement. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can significantly increase your Canada pension plan. We're going to talk about 9 tips for doing that. You know, when you talk about retirement income planning, there's a lot of different topic areas to consider, but government benefits are quite foundational to a lot of people's retirement income plans. You know, if you had a couple age 65 who are at 85% of the CPP maximum right now is $17,196. At 85% times 2, that's $29,232 for that couple. You add to that old age security benefits at 65 times 2, that's another $17,464. And then if you look at the total, that's $46,696. So anything we can do to squeeze additional income through those government benefits is beneficial. These benefits are guaranteed lifetime payments indexed fully to the cost of living increases we experience because of inflation. Okay, tip number 1 is work longer. I know, it doesn't sound fantastic, right? But Canada Pension Plan is based on your best 39 years of earnings, and there may be an opportunity to replace lower earning years. And many of us have those lower earning years. So it could make a difference in terms of your long-term benefits. Now, how do you do that? Well, that ties into tip number 2. Check your Canada Pension Plan statement of contributions. The statement is going to show you your earnings history, contribution history, and errors can happen, by the way. So review your statement on a regular basis. If you see errors, make sure you report those errors so that your statement can be updated and you're not going to get gypped out of any of your Canada Pension Plan benefits. So if you want to take a look at your contribution history, just go to the Service Canada website. When you get into it, you'll see the Canada Pension Plan section. And just go down to View My Plan Contributions. Just click on that and it'll give you your contribution history. So when you get to your contribution history, you can see your contributions for every single year. You can see the years where you've maximized your contributions. So keep in mind, again, it's 39 years to maximize your CPP benefits. So you can work through this contribution history to see if you have any lower earning years. And for some of you, it may make sense to work some additional years to maximize your benefit through these calculations. So again, it's important to go back, take a look at these contributions, see if they match with your earnings history to make sure there's no mistakes. As well, this earnings history is important. There's some great calculators out there for calculating your Canada Pension Plan benefits. So again, the CPP website is an estimate, and those estimates don't factor in some of these provisions like dropouts. You don't really know what your benefit will be for sure until you actually apply for a Canada Pension Plan. So I'll put a link in the show notes to various calculators you can make use of to do some estimates. And you'll need this information here from your Service Canada account to input and calculate your benefit rates. By the way, if you're getting serious about your retirement planning, make sure you go to the show notes. There's a link to free resources, and we make available a complimentary 30-minute call so you can get a second opinion. We call it the gap analysis discussion. So take advantage of that. Go to the show notes, book a call, and we can have a conversation about whether you're tracking in the right direction for your retirement. And the next tip is consider delaying the start date of your Canada Pension Plan. You can begin benefits as early as 60. The common one is usually when people retire, but you can also defer right to the age of 70. If you defer at age 70, that's a 42% increase from the age 65 benefit. You get an increase of 7% for each year you defer. Now, this decision is part head and heart and gut feel. It's not purely just a numbers math kind of decision. So this makes sense particularly for people who think that they will live to at least average life expectancy. For most people, that might be the early to mid 80s. And if you think that's going to happen, and that likely is a high probability decision for most people who are reasonably healthy at the age of 65, then deferring could put a lot more money in your pocket. Now, a lot of people go, I don't care. I'm going to take the money and run. There's no real survivor benefits that are meaningful for most couple situations. I'm just going to start taking it. And I can understand that. I'm very sympathetic to that decision. But often when we run retirement forecasts, deferring can make the difference between achieving retirement goals and not achieving retirement goals. So it's something important to reflect on. And for many people, delaying the start of CPP could put a lot more money in their pockets. Keep in mind, that's a 42% increase by age 70 of a fully indexed pension indexed to whatever the cost of living is at that point. If it's 3% per year, that's a lot of extra cash flow that will find its way in your pocketbook. So the next tip is maximize your contributions. Easier said than done, right? I get it. But it's something to be mindful of. Maximum contributions happen if you have pensionable earnings of $71,300, and that's in 2025. As of 2025, like I said, the maximum government benefit at age 65 from CPP is $17,196. So for some of you, it might be just putting in a little extra work, a little bit overtime, maybe extra work someplace else. Maybe you're working, part-time, and maybe you can boost your earnings a little bit to get up to that 71.3, just to pick up that extra amount of CPP benefit. And keep in mind that your employer is matching those contributions. So for some of you, that might be an exercise to really get engaged in, right? If you're close to 71.3 or within striking distance of it, why not pick up the maximum benefit if you can? Well, the next tip is consider the child rearing provision. So many people know about this, but let's cover it. Did you take time off to raise children under the age of 7? The provision excludes periods of low to zero earnings during child rearing years, and the net result is higher Canada Pension Plan benefits. Now, the next tip is just be aware of making post-retirement contributions. So post-retirement contributions really are the following. You're receiving Canada Pension Plan already, and you're working between the ages of age 60 and 70. Your post-retirement contributions generate additional inflation-protected lifetime income starting the following year of those contributions. Now, for some of you, you just don't want to make any contributions anymore, and that's understandable. So after the age of 65, you can opt out of making post-retirement contributions by submitting Form CPT 30 to your employer and CRA. So let's look at an example of how this could work for you in terms of these post-retirement contributions. Let's say you're earning $40,000 annually from age 65 to 70 and contribute to Canada Pension Plan yearly. You'd accumulate approximately $335 per month in post-retirement benefits by the age of 70. The monthly PRB at age 70 annualized would be $4,023. This amounts in addition to your original Canada Pension Plan pension and is indexed to inflation. So again, getting back to the power of this, there's very few places where you can get and purchase a lifetime guaranteed annuity that's fully increasing at the rate of inflation. So it's a very powerful foundational piece to your retirement income planning. Now, the next tip is understand the dropout provision or provisions. So the dropout excludes 17% of your lowest earnings months over your history of your employment. It increases your average earnings used to calculate your pension. Now, CPP uses your average pensionable earnings over your contributor period from age 18 to when you take CPP, typically between age 65 or 70. If you had low or no earnings during parts of that period, they could lower your average unless they are excluded using the dropout provisions. So what are some of the main provisions? There's a general dropout for low earning months. Like I said, 17% of your lowest earnings months are automatically dropped from the calculation. This works out to about 8 years over a whole 47-year career between 18 and 65. Everyone gets this dropout, no need to apply for it. You have child rearing provisions. We talked about this. Applies if you had children under the age of 7 and had reduced earnings or no earnings while caring for them. These months can be dropped if you receive family allowance or were the primary caregiver during that period, and you apply for this provision. This is especially beneficial, obviously, for women or stay-at-home parents over these time periods. The main dropout provisions, well, the post-retirement dropout introduced for people who work and contribute to CPP after starting their pension. Months of no or low earnings after pension start are excluded from the PRB calculations if you're not contributing anymore. So why do these provisions matter? Obviously, these dropouts ensure you're not penalized for being unemployed or underemployed, raising children, becoming disabled, or retiring early or transitioning gradually. When we do retirement income planning for families, and particularly in couple situations, the tax planning component is a really important part of the engagement because trying to maximize after-tax income really helps to fortify the long-term retirement strategy and just puts more money in your pockets. So one tax planning or income planning strategy as it relates to Canada Pension Plan is Canada Pension Plan sharing. So if you're in a situation where you're married or in a common law relationship, and it's beneficial if there's an income differential between the two of you, that can result in overall tax reductions through your retirement years. Essentially what happens is you take each of your retirement benefits from CPP, you have to be at least age 60 and receiving your benefits, and you apply to have those benefits added together, cut in half, and then split equally between the two of you. And the net result is that'll get additional income into the hands of the lower income partner, thus reducing overall taxes through the life of retirement. So it's a very important strategy to take a look at. And the next tip is maintain consistent employment. Gaps in earnings may reduce your CPP pension. That's been the theme of this video. Gap solutions are working longer, increasing income, and thus contributions. Don't just take your CPP as soon as you retire. Be a little bit intentional around your planning. Take a look at your contribution history, making little tweaks and looking at your history and maybe replacing some of those low earning years with a slightly higher income can make a big difference to your retirement pensions over the length of your retirement. And if you want some more help in this area, make sure you go to the show notes. There's free resources you can tap into. As well, we make available a complimentary gap analysis discussion. You can set up a free meeting to tap into our expertise in retirement planning to find out whether our gap discussion would be appropriate for you. And if you enjoy this video, here's another video on the screen right now talking about other aspects of Canada Pension Plan planning.